about why Mr. Alan Chairman pulled out of the race. What happened? What's the inside story?
John, I wasn't telling you about why Alan Chairman pulled out.
You were. That was a question I asked.
I wasn't.
And then you started by greeting your people.
But I wasn't answering that because in his press statement,
right,
he had elucidated the reasons why he was.
And that's all there is.
That's all there is. I was at the center of one of them, being the Northeast, and I remember
right. You called
speaking
me.
to you about what was going on.
That's right.
Yes. That, for me, if anybody wants evidence, is there to see. And I can tell you that I, for instance, who was at the center of it, and the person who actually was brutalized and who I had cause to take out of the place, has not been called for any investigations or anything on that matter.
Really?
Yes. And so it tells you the extent to which the party is willing or unwilling to adduce evidence or get to the bottom of the case. I was physically there. I felt the physical threats myself. I think they've had some evidence to that effect. That is the party.
Right.
But, and I had cause to bring 2 other people out of the region because of the immediate threat to their lives, including the one whose eye was virtually shattered. And if nobody sees reason to want to talk to him or to talk to me, then I have questions as to the sincerity with which those matters are being dealt. But like I said, he's indicated exactly why he had to. And I do not
some
want
who say
to...
they are disappointed because he was the candidate of their choice.
Well, it happens, life happens. And if he felt that the environment within which he was operating wasn't welcoming of him and his supporters and team were under constant threat, and he thought that's the way out. That's his way of looking at it.
Did he ever think that he had been given a raw deal by his own party, the MPP?
I think you should refer to the statement. It's very clear. The statement speaks to how disappointed and hurt he is about the line the party has gone.
There are considerations for him to run as an independent candidate or to partner with Mr. Kennedy Japan to get a stronger ticket. Would you advise him to take that step?
I have since moved on. It's his decision what he does with his political career and life. I have decided to move on a path where I concentrate on myself and then the people of Kpandai. And I'll leave that decision and choice to him. I wouldn't go into his head.
Kpandai,
yes.
Very interesting constituency if you ask me.
Yes.
Why do you want to be MP for Kpandai?
Oh, that's a good one. I have, in actual fact, this will be the second time I'm putting myself up for it. The first time was in 2011. As at then, by the close of nomination, we were 4 people that had actually gone for the nomination forms. Myself, Dr. Bawa and Dr. Bo, both of blessed memory. And then Matthew Nyindam, who subsequently became the MP. And by the time we went to the Congress to elect the aspirant, Dr. Bo, who had previously led the party in 2008, had passed on even before we went to Congress. So the 3 of us went. And I placed third or last in that instance, you would say. And The beauty of it was the maturing process that I went through. Coming for the first time and being virtually told to sit aside and let those who had had their hands on it or tried it before be given the opportunity. And that is one tradition I admire about the MPP as a party. Normally they will take you through the mill. It's very rare that you come in once and then you take it.
Like was done for Dr. Baumia.
I don't know.
It was done for Dr. Baumia.
How
he was
is that?
given a waiver when he got in. He hadn't served the 5-year waiting period.
Well, I can't speak to that. I'm talking about people contesting, because this position you're talking about, it wasn't a contest.
Right.
Somebody picked him, and it was within the person's domain and choice to do that, take that decision. But I'm talking about where
An elective position.
where the party people have a number of people to choose from. They normally decide based on your experience, your service to the party, longevity, and all the loyalty stuff. And that was the first time they were seeing me contest. And so automatically the person who placed second to Dr. Bo, who had passed, was given the baton. He is the Matthew Nyandama I'm talking about. And then subsequently, I learned that it is teamwork. I also learned that you have to put your shoulders to the wheel in whatever shape or form, and that it will get to my turn. So what do I do? First and foremost, I contribute my widow's mite. Some of it came in the form of posters. I got the former Vice President Aliu Mahama, for instance, to assist me with certain things. I remember contacting the current Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister and the MP for Mampong, also a very good friend, who helped me with T-shirts, for instance. Added some little widow's mite in terms of finance to help the campaign in 2012.
Okay.
But the most significant part, I would say, was having a conversation with Honorable Ajakon at his Nima office. That I had some conversation with an elderly person in the constituency who told me that if we would have a shot at this seat, they have to see that the MPP is hungry for it, and that our candidate himself comes to campaign. Because in his view, we had actually never had any leader of the MPP, and he cited Rawlings as the only one who has ever come close to the constituency to campaign.
Okay.
So I made that argument to Wachiajakun, and that, look, should consider adding Kpandai to the places that Nanado will be touring. And lo and behold, it was accepted. I remember us meeting at the Salaga police station when the candidate joined him, and we drove off, went and started at Lonto, came through Loloto, came to my village, Jambwai, then went into Kumindi, then Kpandai, where we did the biggest rally. And somehow, for the first time in 20 years, we took the seat.
Interesting. I
Yes.
see the electoral record here.
Yes.
Yes. The first time you got it was in 2012
2012, yes.
and retained it in 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
So what happens in 2016 is this. We're supposed to do our primaries again 2015. You normally do it a year before the elections. So 2015, primaries forms are ready, pick. Then I tell the member of parliament that I'm going to let you go unopposed. Okay. So
Why did you decide that?
my decision was based on the fact that we had just won the seat for the first time. And it was clear to me from the data that had been gathered and the margins that we had beaten them with was barely 2,524 or something thereabout. That if it is traditionally an NDCC, so if we overcompeted internally, we're going to create fractures and fixtures that would eventually erode our chances of retaining the seat. So I did rather all my supporters and everyone took a back seat in terms of the contest. So the day came, the elections were supposed to be held. I joined, and then I spoke, told the whole all the delegates that look, this is a new seat. It's traditionally an NDC seat. Let's not over contest. If you're supporting me, please, I'm giving my support and pledge to the candidate right here in the Catholic Church Assembly. And I raised his hand, and then we acclaimed him, and then we left. And I didn't leave it there. 2015, I was part of Dr. Baumia's campaign team.
Okay.
So I sat with him too.
Sorry.
And suggested to him that this was what Nanado did in 2012, and it helped the cause. And I think that it is his turn. And if he came, it will help. And he also took it. So in 2016, myself, the candidate, the MP, with Dr. Baumia. This time we extended it. He's younger, he's stronger. So every village, every cottage that is predominantly NDC and all that, we planned it well. We wanted to go into the NDC stronghold. So for instance, we started this time in a place called Kpandai by the riverside. That is predominantly, notoriously NDC. We went there, went through a procession, and the whole village was lighted up. And Dr. Baumia's dexterity was also on display. We went through the whole constituency, finished it. I didn't leave it there. After leaving it for him unopposed, if you remember, then we were doing adopt a polling station. You remember that?
I remember that.
I didn't adopt a polling station. I adopted the whole constituency.
See.
The whole constituency, every agent bill on election day was paid for by me.
That's food, water, transportation.
Everything. I put it on cash and gave it to the executives to do. Make sure that everybody was fully taken care of, that we don't get any hanky-panky going on the at the polling station. I had contributed my quota, sacrificed, physically went round, campaigned, added resources, and then we won.
How many polling stations?
We have currently 139.
That's quite a number.
Yes.
To be crisscrossing all through.
Yes. But if you're a politician, you know how to do it. Even at the break of dawn, we do. Yes.
I see. What would be your key vision for the Kpandai constituency?
I have told them it is predominantly a farming community. About 90% are farmers. Another 5% or in between, because farming is the predominant thing, but we have a lot of rivers as well, and so we do fishing. So when I was growing up, okay, and you might not believe this, when I was in secondary school, when we went on holidays, I went to the village because my uncle was the one that farmed to pay for my dad's university and schooling. And so my dad was at least an average Ghanaian. He was a banker, okay, but he thought just sending money to the family wasn't enough. I needed to pay back my uncle's debt. Yeah, so I used to go to the village on holidays to go and farm.
Okay.
So we leave the house around 4 a.m. because it would take you about 2 hours to walk to the farm. It was about 5 miles journey. You walk there, finish farming. About 2 o'clock you close because the sun is coming up. It's too hot. Then you walk back home and straight to the riverside, go and mend the nets and bring fish for cooking. So, and it's interconnected. So the farmers are doing the same fishing along the farming. These are the two main occupations. I have stated to them publicly. Number one, my MP's Common Fund, I think it is criminal if we use it for anything else than to aid these two activities for them because they have challenges with implements. On average, it takes, they charge about 250 to 300 cedis per acre to till the land with a tractor. And they are not there in the first place. They have very limited supply. So I'm thinking if one could put a lot of the common fund into supplying tractors, for instance, it will go a long way. It's not going to be free, but they will get it at a reasonable price. They are pretty new. They don't break down that easily. That will be one. Then the other things they need, the pesticides, the weedicides, anything that would improve and mechanize the area. For instance, in my village, we currently are working with some NGOs to bring some foreign investors. We're currently mapping the whole place to do some serious commercial farming, but through outgrowers for them to do. You give them the technology and the land is, everything is theirs, but you help them do and then you buy it back and then export. Such ideas would help them grow. Fortunately, Alan Kojo Chiremantin's one district, one factory has one located in the district. And cassava is one major product there. There are actually two. Yam and cassava are the two main products that come from the area. Yes. Now there's a cassava chip factory that is being test run as we currently are speaking. The outgrower groups have been formed to supply, farm and supply and all those things. So you would have to get the farmers to organize themselves into commercial groups, give them the experts knowledge that they need to improve their yields, and also have it semi-processed, because that is where value addition comes in. You know, that is one leg for the MPP constituency executives, polling station executives. I have pledged that I'm going to put them on a monthly salary.
Hey, where are you going to draw the fund from to do this?
Where am I drawing the fund?
Curious to learn.
Yes. So one, I am setting up a welfare fund in the name of the entire constituency. One name, one account. And the seed money comes from me, 100,000 Ghana cedis. Opens the account. Now, a lot of things, projects are going on in the constituency that you have the proceeds being taken there in the name of the party, in the name of the district, in the name of probably someone or an MP. No, I think that such monies should be funneled into the account and the proceeds used to pay them, because they are the guys who do the hard work, the lifting, the heavy lifting to get the party into power and to make you an MP. So if they are doing the heavy lifting and you come and sit down there and there is nothing trickling down to them, the chances are that at the point they will give up, and that is when you lose.
Take a look at the electoral record, the national electoral record.
Yes.
2016. Your party won with an overwhelming majority, unprecedented.
Yes.
In 2020, that number or figure was halved.
Yes.
And then in Parliament, You had 169 MPs at the time. The NDC had 106. Now it's 137, 138.
Yes.
So in terms of goodwill, if you're going by this record, your party has lost some of the goodwill that it got in 2016, having been in power for 4 years.
Yes.
Does that translate to the goodwill on the ground in Kpandai?
Okay, so you see, goodwill in Kpandai, and that brings me back to 2016 to 2020 and why we lost the seat. Now, Johnny, I'll tell you something. When I was contesting in 2011, there wasn't a single, I wouldn't say even a meter of tarred road in the whole of Kpandai. Not a single meter. Right? 2017, to date. And this is a district that was given the status under President Kufuor in 2008. And there was nothing that actually showed that we're up to it. It was just a big village. No amenities. Now we have the whole township started. Look, it used to take me about 3 hours from Dambai when I crossed the river to Kpandai. Now it takes me 30 minutes. Because it starts right from the riverside to Kpandai. The township roads are all tarred. I used to drive my Land Rover Defender on rocks to get to Kpandai. Now you go and you will not know, if you have never been on that road, that this is where where we came from. We have a teaching hospital. I said a nursing training college that has been brought there and is training a lot of people. A lot of schools have been built. The secondary school that is there has been expanded. I'm talking about having a factory that is the first of its kind in that district. The value addition. You look at the extent to which we extended electricity and water and social amenities. All these aside the school programs that we brought, free SHS and all those things. The issue is that I think sometimes power gets into people's heads.
Really?
Yes. And that's what we call arrogance of power. Because I think if you look at what we had done as a party and a government, on the basis of the record, we had no business losing our goodwill. But I think our interpersonal relationships, the way we carry ourselves, the way we talk, was beginning to put the common Ghanaian off. And I do not think we've departed from it or we've learnt our lesson.
Really?
I don't think so. If we don't change our ways, all that they have one will be taken from us, and it could be going into the negative.
That will not be good for you.
That will not be good for us. So anybody in a position of power right now listening to me, please step down from your high horse. Get your sleeves and your hands dirty. Prove to the Ghanaian that all the good work you have done, and the works are there. And that's why I was surprised, because in 2019, a team came to my office in East Legon asking me, Richard, please, we need you to come and stand in Kpandai. If not, we'll lose the seat. And my immediate reaction was that, no way. The sort of development that have come in the last 4 years, I can't think about that happening. It's not possible.
But it happened.
And then it happened.
Because you refused to contest.
No. We lost it because I was under the impression that all is well. But the arrogance of power I'm talking about, where people feel they are over and above the rest of them because they've been elevated to an office. He's a minister, he's a CEO, he is this, he is that. He's an MP. So all of a sudden there are some airs about him that he originally didn't have. The airs I have now are the same airs I'll have if I was president. So if you know me right now, I have a way of doing my things. And I don't care whose axe is God. You understand? But if you can't accept that, but that should not change. All of a sudden that I'm carrying some extra airs around me, that makes me feel the world is mine. And I'm saying that largely, It was down to the way we carried ourselves, the way we spoke, for the work we've done. But at a point too, let's be frank with ourselves, we've derailed. Things have gone a bit south.
Have you mentioned this to your party prior to this conversation?
Must I be the one mentioning? The ordinary Ghanaian is saying it.
But
we need to speak to ourselves, need to look at ourselves. The president himself has acknowledged it. The finance minister has acknowledged it. Everybody's acknowledged it. Question is, how are we going about it? But in that particular case, the power is in, people have been appointed to do it. And I think there's still time for people to change their attitude. It's down to attitude.
Breaking the 8 will be an easy one for the MPP.
Or we'll be daft if we thought it was going to be easy. That's a defeatist posture. You should actually think of it as a very tough thing and go out there swinging left, right, center. Else, it's gone. Because to be frank with you, where we are sitting, people aren't happy. And if we looked each other eyeball to eyeball and spoke the truth to ourselves, we'll have a better opportunity at retaining it, because then we'll have the cards on the table, critically examine and evaluate, and give ourselves a chance at addressing the issues. Else, we can whitewash them all we want. We'll be taught a bitter lesson at the right time.
I see. William has a question.
I was just reading around. I mean, if I'm wrong, you may correct me once you're here. 10 years ago, 2013, you petitioned Parliament to impeach President Mahama for mismanaging the economy and corruption issues, and you thought those were, would threaten the security of the state. Where you sit now, has the situation changed? If indeed you made that petition.
2013. Yes, I think I would have. That was the days of the height of my anti-corruption crusade.
Yes.
And I will tell you one thing. Anyone fighting corruption in this country, you are on your own. It's a very lonely road.
It's a dangerous sport.
It's a dangerous road to take. Okay?
I know, right?
Yes, I have learnt it the hard way. Okay. You mentioned the major corruption cases that have been successfully fought, either in court or Shiraj or elsewhere, and you have my name on it. I did every single one of those with my own resources, financial, personal time, and to some extent sacrificing my family. There were times my wife wept that she doesn't see the vision I'm seeing. She doesn't know where I'm going with this, because at a point you are struggling to feed, and you think the little you have, you should use it. And nobody ever, not once in the history of this country has anybody recognized that effort. No one has ever recognized that, oh, there's this chap called Richard. He did A, B, C, D. Where is he? The threats I had on my life, the physical attempts on me. There were times the gun-touting people came in the form of armed robbers. There were times if you came to my house, I was with just dogs, and all the dogs could chew you up if you dropped there without my presence.
Has the situation changed?
It hasn't changed.
So would you call for the impeachment of the president as you did in 2013?
No. You see, I have learned the hard way that there's a systemic problem. You get in there, and whether you like it or not, the system will force you to conform.
That is if you are not careful.
You have to have the heart of an angel, and the head of a devil, to be able to go on that path on your own and dare everyone. Because look, Johnny, if I have the opportunity to do what I did in 2013, knowing what I have seen and gone through, I probably wouldn't do it again.
Why?
Because it's like a lost cause.
The situation is
Johnny,
that bad?
yes, Johnny. 99.9% of the people of Ghana are corrupt in our hearts, in our minds, and our souls. What we are good at doing is sitting down and pointing fingers and telling people how bad they are doing.
But the president holds a different
and
view.
listen,
He
and
holds a different view.
listen. That is his view. I have fought it physically. I've fought it spiritually. I have prayed. I've done all I can. I'm saying that internally, something needs to change in our mental thinking process. You take even the cultural makeup, the environment is all encouraging corruption. What we like to do is that, oh, this one is corrupt, and we'll sit down and talk about the person. You turn the next and you are the worst. You are bribing the policeman or you are doing something. We all do it to get out of a situation. And I'm saying that it has taken me that lonely fight to realize that I'm not different from all those people I've been accusing. And so it's time to just call it quits until something dramatic happens. Maybe some external force drops on our heads and our minds change. This is something that needs to be part of our curricula.
So the OSP,
change.
is actually working in vain.
Oh,
I hear you
God.
right.
I don't know anybody who is doing it, and you ask them one-on-one in their rooms, and you finish and you go into your room and cry. I'm telling you, they know what they are doing. Look, it's window dressing. The problem is bigger than that. This country is a mess.
Is it because of the way you speak? That's why, for example, you will not be considered for appointments and the rest.
Oh no,
Because people think you have a fine brain. People think you speak well. People think you have served your party.
Johnny.
But then when you're talking about the key appointments, Richard Nyama is not around.
Johnny,
So what's going on?
Johnny, I don't do what I do to be appointed or to be recognized. And anyone who holds an office knows that. That is why I'm who I am. I don't do or say things to please anybody. I say them as they are. I don't care whose axe is God. If in the end you think there's a role that is befitting me, and I don't want to be just given a role. I want a role where I will make a difference. That when I leave, they'll say, yes, Richard has left the building. And so I just don't want to come and add to the numbers. Seriously, I don't care.
You were a special aide to the party chairman, immediate past party chairman.
I was his spokesperson as well.
Lawyer Freddie Blay.
Yes.
And we're in politics, there's politics of patronage.
Yeah.
For somebody who is a spokesperson and is a special aide to a party chairman, there's no way that you would have been around without some consideration of, and I'm not asking for you to be patronized, because you've been to school, you are knowledgeable, you are energetic, you speak well, people love you in your party. So how come that you don't have those opportunities to go and do the change that you want to effect, for example? How?
People deserve the leadership they get. I'm sure if Ghana and the people of Ghana think I'm deserving or I'm worthy of them, at the appropriate time, they would choose me. That's why I'm putting myself out for Kpandai.
Do you think that they will endorse you?
I pray so. I mean well. But that is all I can do. Put myself up. Look at my credentials. Look at me. What I have to offer. What the options on the table are that I'm bringing. If you think that will make a change in your life, fine. But if it's going to be politics of patronage, of tribalism and ethnicity, count me out.
See, Helen.
Yes. Well, Johnny, actually, I think you asked Mr. Nyama one of the questions I was going to pose after you talked about everybody being corrupt. You said, well, is there any point in fighting corruption? Should we just throw our hands up in the air and abandon the fight for accountability? And also, when you say we're all corrupt, is this by way of general observation over the years? Because there's levels to this.
Yeah.
To come by that assertion that you yourself are just as corrupt, I think is weighty, because what we see going on I don't think we can lump it all together. Yes, we're guilty of infractions such as the bribes here and there. We want to get out of sticky situations. But a lot of things start and end with leadership. A lot of the reasons why we pay and do you know somebody who can get me ahead of the queue is due to some of the inefficiencies. Not every Ghanaian wants to jump ahead of the queue because they are innately corrupt. So I wanted to know where you are getting that assertion from.
It's from our education, our upbringing.
Okay.
I'll tell you something. My kids are not here. They live in the US. The educational system, right from the child, there's something that makes it like if something happens, this is the law that is supposed to take place. So the kids, even with my Ghanaian, the children are telling me, Daddy, you don't do this here. You do that. You know.
Yes.
It's from education.
They have been conditioned
They are
to
conditioned
know that this is it.
Yes, this is wrong, and this is. If this happens, you call 911. If this happens, so kids report their parents for doing the wrong thing. Here is an abomination. The church, go and sit in church and listen to your pastor very well. He's preaching corruption. He's preaching corruption in the name of giving to the church. How you get it and bring it, he doesn't care. That's why I'm saying, my sister, if it is you have to pay to get out of a sticky situation, I'm saying that you are as bad as the one that will pay the big one because his excuse is to get out of a sticky situation too. It's just that the amount involved is bigger.
Maybe he has more than you have, but same principle.
So you go through from the small level, you go to the ministries. We're sitting here talking about the ministers. The minister has a whole structure that he works within. You let him go and not conform. You'll be framed up. And then before you know, all the newspapers and everybody's reporting you. You've signed your death warrant without knowing because they know how the system works. It is from our educational system, the way even our cultural upbringing. Bese, what's that? So seriously, I know I'm sounding what's the word? It's like I've given up.
Defeatist. That's how I would describe it.
I come across as such. But I think we are tackling the problem from the head instead of from the root. You and I probably we are wasted generation. But if we could recondition our kids from the kindergarten growing, then there's a chance. If not, look, we are just plastering the wounds.
What did you make of Madam Cecilia Dapa's issue, money at home, the huge sums of amount back and forth with the OSP? What are your own thoughts about that?
Absolute shock.
Shocked about what?
Shocked that someone could have that amount of money in their homes.
I see. And it is not possible with all the explanations that are going around.
I'm just shocked. That's it. I'm just. I don't know. It's bewildering.
I see. Let's take a quick break. On return, I'm sure we can look at some other issues. My guest is Mr. Richard Nyama. He wants to be MP for Kpandai. See you shortly.
Oktoberfest is here again. Ghana's premier 5-star hotel and your CMG hospitality facility of the year. Labadi Beach Hotel brings you another exciting edition of the biggest beer festival in the world, Oktoberfest 2023. Performing live is the Bayern Boys Band from Germany. Catch all the fun with German traditional food and beer at the plush Labadi Beach Hotel on the 6th and 7th of October 2023. For enquiries and reservations, please call 0302-772-501 or 0249-532-866. Oktoberfest Beer Festival. Come, let's party! Stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the
Get ready for another cultural explosion like never before. On 21st September, Africa will witness an ultimate celebration of African diversity and flavor at the 3FM Afro Connect event. This is the place to experience the magic of African arts and creativity. You also get to unite in a sizzling jollof war competition, igniting a culinary showdown. Will Cote d'Ivoire hold the jollof war title? So whether you're passionate about food, art games, or simply making new connections, 3FM Afro Connect event on the 21st of September is the place to be. Venue, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. To sell, call 053-220-0927. 3FM Afro Connect, connecting Africa and beyond.
Brought to you by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
3FM Sunrise.
And I have a message for you. Oktoberfest is here again. Ghana's premier 5-star hotel and your CIMG hospitality facility of the year. Labadi Beach Hotel brings you another exciting edition of the biggest beer festival in the world, Oktoberfest 2023. Performing live is the Bayern Boys Band from Germany. Catch all the fun with German traditional food and beer at the plush Labadi Beach Hotel on 6th and 7th October 2023. For inquiries and reservations, please call 0302-772501. That's 0302-772501 or 0249-532866 or 0244-747-670. Brussels Airline is the official airline sponsor for Oktoberfest 2023 at the plush Labadi Beach Hotel. Oktoberfest Beer Festival. Come, let's party. Yeah.
3FM Sunrise.
Let's come to the concluding part of our conversation with Mr. Richard Nyama. Your key contender, if you go through the primaries successfully, will be the sitting MP Daniel Okpal. Are you able to offseat him?
My biggest challenge is the internal one.
Not the external one.
Not the external one.
And who is going with you for the
Because
internal
I
one?
have, you see, I keep saying that every people deserve the leadership they get. A particular narrative has been used over the period to basically get the people to vote and act in a particular way. And it's largely been ethnocentric, tribal-based. But you see, education and the mass nature of it lately is beginning to let people see beyond their limited tribal, ethnic attachments. And I believe in the goodness, the general goodness of the person. If you speak to the person's heart, okay, and they can see through you and feel you, they would come along. Why the internal one is the challenge is because of the whip system and how we want to have things in a particular order,
Right.
To satisfy a particular interest. If you are not within that interest, we do not see the larger picture that, okay, maybe if this person is giving all the help he needs, he has a stronger, better message that can win us or get this seat back for us.
But he won't be given because
No.
he doesn't want to play ball.
Yeah, he's not whipped into a particular way of doing things. Well, I believe that if I took my message to them, to the public, and knowing how I identify the problems and how to get the resources to manage the problems and get everybody at least being part and enjoying their little benefit, it will be an easier journey.
Well,
because
with all this,
internally the forces are greater.
with all this monocracy happening around us, you can't just take message to the people.
Johnny, yes, to a large extent I agree with you. But I also said that if you're able to speak to the goodness of the person, their heart, and let them buy into your goodness too, because it's reciprocal. Okay, if you sat with me and you are lying to me, I have the capacity to read human beings, so I would know if you're lying. I would just yes, and I want to believe God has blessed everyone with at least a little bit of it. You can see through your fellow. I'll sell it to them. I'll give it my all. And look, the heavens and the earth have a way of communicating. Surprises do happen. And I believe the heavens are on my side, and so is the earth. And this is for me to win. Anybody who is out there against me, prepare for battle.
So
I'm good.
You don't sound like a politician.
I don't sound like. How do politicians sound?
You're saying everything. You're not concealing anything.
Is that not how it's supposed to be?
Quite unusual around here.
If maybe we like things embellished. We don't like hearing the truth. That's a part of the corruption I'm talking about. Sebi. Instead of saying the thing straight away, you add a sebi to it. Yeah. Just to make the person feel a bit
euphemistic.
Yes. Sometimes when you tell people the hard truth and they have a conscience, it pricks them eventually. And I think that's what we need for this system to start changing. The sebi is not taking us anywhere.
I see. Let's wrap up. If you met the president today, what would you tell him?
Mr. President?
Yes.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. That's all you say.
Yes.
You won't add anything.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Yeah. That's all you say. To the President of the Republic.
Yes.
I see. And why would you choose to say just that?
Oh, I haven't seen him in a while.
That's all. So it's good to see you. Your closing thoughts, share with us as we wrap up.
Yes. I bless everybody that's listening to me this morning, especially my people in Kpandai. I'm coming. This is me. If you want the truth, you want results, I'm here to give it to you. I want to believe that we see good when we know good when we see one. And I believe that Kpandai will get the leadership that it most deserves at this critical moment, because it's a rural constituency. It's been left behind. Johnny, let me ask you. Now I'm taking the host seat. Is there any place in this country, is there anybody that I couldn't knock on their door and ask for my pound of flesh?
You can. You could knock on any door. That's exactly the point somebody raised with me. So the work that you have done for your party.
So that is the exact point, because I realized maybe all that I was doing, I was misplacing my efforts. That is not being appreciated. So let me rechannel it to the good of the people I represent. You come to my village. My dad died last year. Thanks to Kofi Bento, Doc Steve Manteya, Nanaya Jantua, Kwame Jantua, and all the others who came to the funeral in the village. I had them taken in an STC bus and brought. Okay, a journey that should take you like 20 minutes took them about 2-3 hours. How bad the road is, how rural the place is. You get in there, and my house is about the most modern place you see in that whole area. We are sitting in Accra and we think that this is the world. Go out there and see. People are suffering to have one meal a day. People are genuinely suffering. People are struggling. Life is hard. Ghana is out there. And that is where I want to go and represent. That's where I came from anyway. I told you my story. I used to walk to the farm barefooted, and farm and walk barefooted to the village and go fishing, go mend the nets, and come home and eat. So I know what it is to be a rural person. And I think they need me more than Accra and the rest of you need me.
We thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best.
Me too.
And it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh man, a few birthdays and then we'll get into Womenpreneur. Right, this morning, Helena Piampo